So this is some work in progress of the NodeBots workshop that we're doing at BuzzConf next weekend. So here we have the modules that we're going to use, an ESP8266 that has been configured to be able to take multiple different nodes. So here we have a barometric pressure node sensor, we have a temperature sensor, and here we have a servo, and there's a couple of other ones that we're working on as well, but these are the main three that we'll be showing off right now. And this is configured to be able to send MQTT messages and receive MQTT messages, which is going up to a Mosquito server running over here on my laptop. And you can see here there's some data coming out of the node every 20 or 30 seconds, and at the moment it's just passing out all of the pressure data that's happening here in the house. So from here, what we're trying to do is have this as being a configurable node that doesn't require lots of flashing to make it work. So what we can do is we can use MQTT to send it a message like this, which you can see here, and we're using the retain flag of MQTT in order to be able to send a message so that when the node starts up, it can actually determine what state it's in. So this is the setup at the moment with the barometric pressure sensor, but I can also change this to become a one-wire temperature sensor. And then down here, I'll then change my sensors over. So we'll just pull this off. And then we're going to take our little one-wire temperature sensor here and hook it up. So we just need to make sure it's in the right spot. Okay. So we've just added this on to our little sensor, and we'll just wait for it to reconfigure back onto the network, which should only take a second or so. And so right now it's just grabbing its configuration from the MQTT server, which you can see here. It's restarting, grabbing all of its different config that's actually coming down from the server slowly. There we go. So you can see that it's been configured here as a one-wire temperature sensor, and it's just resetting and reassociating itself back onto the network again. And there we go. So now if I come back over here, we should start to see some temperature data starting to come through. There we go. So here you can see that we've got the temperature coming out as well. So, and we can do this against humidity sensors, servos, and all sorts of other things like that. So very quickly I'll switch this over to the servo mode. And let that go through its reassociation phase. And in the meantime, plug this in. So we're just waiting for that to boot up. And we can add that. So now what it means we can do is we have our servo here, and now we have an actuator which can take a message from MQTT. So before, with our little temperature sensors and whatnot, we were sending data off of this, but now with this we want to be able to receive data. So in here what we can do is, let's focus that, we can send a position command and give it a value. So we can say move it to 10 degrees, for example, and the servo will move. So I'll just hand this over so you can see both parts of this at once. So if we set that to 180, for example, then our little servo is going to spin around. Now we can set it back to 0 or set it back to our starting position at 90. And so here we've just used the same firmware to make this work across all three of these sensors. We haven't had to change the firmware at all. We've just sent an MQTT message in order to be able to have this configured to be able to work with a barometric pressure sensor, a temperature sensor, and a servo all in one go, one firmware. So there we go.